Oh hey, and welcome to the very first episode of The Blue Wizard Bakes. I'm Joe the Blue Wizard. You know, when I was thinking up what recipe I was going to share with you for the very first episode of The Blue Wizard Bakes, I wanted to make sure that it was something that was quick and easy to do, but also still packs the punch. And the recipe that I chose, I think really fits that bill. It's my jam crumble bars. Now these crumble bars are super simple and easy to make. They have a delicious crumble topping that is crispy on the outside but still a little bit soft on the inside. Then you have the jam filling that's on the inside of the crumble bars, and that jam filling is fresh and delicious and ooey and gooey, and you know, when I make them and bring them into work, they fly off the tray just like lightning. Sorry, got a little bit carried away. Well, anyway, without further ado, let's get into the kitchen so we can see how to make them. Alright, and welcome to my kitchen. With any baking recipe, you want to make sure that you start off by doing two things. Thing number one is to make sure that you preheat your oven to the right temperature. I'm going to preheat mine to 350 degrees. Now, the other thing that you want to make sure that you do when you're doing any kind of baking recipe, or really any recipe, is to make sure that you're gathering all of your ingredients and equipment so that you're ready to get started. This way you're not running around the kitchen like a chicken with their head cut off, trying to find something when you need it. So without further ado, let's get everything together. Alright, there you have it. Everything ready to go. Now, if you want to know what the ingredients are that I'm using for this recipe and their measurements, and you don't want to have to write them down real quick as I'm saying them, all of those ingredients and their measurements are going to be in the description box below this video. So the first thing that we need to do in order to make our strawberry jam crumble bars is going to be to create our crumble mixture. And to do that, we need to first start off by adding our dry ingredients. So we're going to add 3 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of sugar, 2/3 cup of brown sugar, 2.5 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats, and 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. Now that all those dry ingredients are together, we can take and mix them up. You can do this with a whisk, or you could probably just go in there with your hands. But I guess I should try to be, you know, a little bit neat for the camera. Ah, screw it, I'm going in with my hands. There you go. Nice and homogeneous. All right, now the next ingredient that you need for the crumble mixture is going to be probably one of my more favorite ingredients, and that is 2.5 sticks of melted butter. Now I know what you might be saying to yourself. Self, that seems like an awful lot of butter. Well, yes it is. However, it may help you to know that when I started developing this recipe, I actually began with 4 sticks. Yes, that's right, kids, an entire pound of melted butter. So I went back as far as I could go. I promise you, 2.5 sticks is as far down as you can go and still make the recipe work. Trust me. And you know, when it comes down to it and you do the math, 2.5 sticks means like 20 tablespoons of butter, and there's 24 bars in this recipe. So that's less than a tablespoon of butter per bar, per serving. So if you just have 1 bar, then it's not really that big of a deal, right? Well, moving on. Gotta make sure to get all that butter. All right, now when I'm stirring in the butter, I don't go with my hands right away. I do want to try and stir this up a little bit with a spatula first. Now once it seems like the butter is mostly soaked up, then you should probably go in with your hands and try to mix it in all of the way. You're trying to go for a mixture that is, you know, crumbly. That's why it's called crumble. Now when you're mixing this through, you want to make sure that you don't have any dry pockets, because any of those dry pockets are going to turn into like a sand consistency when you bake it in the oven, which, you know, like I said, they're called crumble bars, not, you know, jam sand bars. That would be gross. There you go. I've gotten all the dry bits out, but it still looks crumbly. This is what you're going for. Nice and crumbly. So the next thing that we have to do is to take this crumble mixture and turn it into the base of our crumble bars. So the pan that I'm using for this recipe is a 13 by 9 by 2 pan that I've lined with parchment paper. Now these bars don't stick inside of a pan, so don't worry about that, even without the parchment paper, because of all the butter that's in the recipe. However, I use the parchment paper just so that it's easier to get all of the bars out, in one giant brick, so that I can, make cutting them up a little bit easier. So what you want to do is add in about half of the crumble mixture into the bottom of the pan. The rest of it is going to be crumbled on top. And if you add a little bit more than half, that's not going to hurt you. Then I'm going to take and press all of the crumble mixture down. You want to press it down nice and firm down into the bottom of the pan. Again, we want them to be crumble bars, but we don't want them to fall apart. So you want to really press them down. Now at this point, like you can see, it doesn't look crumbly at all. It looks nice and flat and smooth, all right, which is good for our base. Again, we want this part to hold together. The top part, that can crumble. All right, so now it's time to add our fruit filling. So now I'm going to be using strawberry, but you can use any kind of fruit filling that you can find a jam flavor for. Or you can mix and match. I'm using both fresh strawberries and strawberry jam, but you can mix and match. You can do like raspberries and strawberry jam or whatever. In fact, raspberry is one of my favorite flavors to do with this exact recipe. The possibilities are endless. So I'm going to be adding in 2 cups of fresh strawberries, which I have nice and thinly sliced. If you don't slice the strawberries thin enough, the problem that you end up running into is that you'll end up with these like big pockets of moisture in your bar, and well, let's just say it doesn't make the bar hold together very well, kind of gets droopy, and nobody likes a limp bar. And there you go. Now our last ingredient is going to be some nice fresh strawberry jam. Now, if you want to make your own strawberry jam because you're one of those people who has the time to do those things, then all the power to you. However, we are not going to be doing that today. I am using store-bought. However, when I buy store-bought jams, I want to make sure that I'm buying a jam that doesn't have anything in it that I think is too funky. To me, you shouldn't really have to put high fructose corn syrup into jam. That's a little silly. You should have enough sweetness from sugar that you're adding as well as the strawberries that you're adding. So I like to get a nice organic jam. So that's another thing that we're going to take and spread nice and evenly over the top. And there you go. Nice and evenly spread. So the last step in putting these bars together is to take the rest of our crumble mixture that we made and then crumble it over the top. Now this part you don't want to pack down. You don't want to squish strawberry out everywhere. And remember, these are called crumble bars, so we want the topping to be nice and crumbly. Yum. Also, you could take the time to, break up any bits that you think are too large. And there you have it. Now's the step that we've all been waiting for. The time to get it into the oven, the time to get it so it's nice and hot and bubbly and gooey and crispy and crunchy and ooey and gooey and, well, all the things. All right, so we're gonna take it and place it into our oven for about an hour. So while those are baking, I just want to take this opportunity to remind you that if you like this recipe and you want to see me do more like it, to make sure to give this video a big old thumbs up. Also, if you want to keep up with me on any of the future videos that I'm going to be making, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Also, hit the little bell icon so that you get notified every time that I post a new video. Now, if you do end up making this recipe, I'd love to hear about it, so hit me up on one of my social medias. You can find me on both Instagram and Twitter at the handle @JoeTheBlueWizard. You can also leave me a comment down below telling me that you tried the recipe and what you thought about it. Another thing that you could leave me a comment about is if there's anything that you want to see me make in the future. If you have any suggestions, I'm totally open to suggestions and trying new things, so just let me know. All right, so the bars are out of the oven. I took them out once they had browned completely on the top and then the jam had started to bubble up all around the sides. After you take them out of the oven, you want them to cool completely out at room temperature, and then before you slice them, you even want to put them into the fridge or even the freezer to cool down to get really, really cold. This is a pro tip, guys. Whenever you're trying to slice something into a bar shape, you want to make sure you get it as cold as possible. It'll make the slices a lot neater and cleaner. In order to do this, I have to take them out of the pan first, and you'll notice because I've cooled them completely, it comes out in a nice solid brick. So once you've peeled the parchment away, you want to cut the bars into 24 even pieces. That's 6 by 4. And there they are. Let's try one. I like a corner piece. Oh, that's awesome. The crispiness of the crumble, plus it's also a little bit soft. And the filling has a nice fresh flavor because you added those fresh strawberries to it. Oh, it's fantastic. Well, there you have it, kids, my delicious jam crumble bars. I know that they're gonna be a hit with your family and friends just like they are with mine. Remember to try these out for yourself and let me know how it goes. Well, that's all for today here on the Blue Wizard Bakes. Remember, you don't have to be a professional chef or even a wizard in order to make magic in your kitchen. Oh, you didn't want, I could probably, I'm just gonna grab and, Crumble. Crumble the crumble. Crumble. Crumbly. Crumble. Crumble and crumbly. Of the crumble crumbled. Of the crumble be crumble crumbly and crumble. Crumble and crumble crumble and crumbly. Of the crumble.